Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on Sven Bender's special edition card released. We're going to go through the card's detail, stats, clips and summary. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below if you're going to get either of the brothers that have recently been released. Guys, another thing just to note as well is please do hit that Instagram link, those other socials down below in the description. That's where I post a lot of my content. You guys will see a lot of updates there as well. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So guys, this is the formation and the team that I played centre-back Sven Bender in. I played him, of course, in that centre-back role next to his brother. I did move him around into defensive midfield as well, just to try him out there. He doesn't have the pace for a fullback slot, unfortunately. But in my first impressions of this card, guys, is a decent card. I do not think that he justifies the SBC price. We will get into that shortly, but I think this card is just decent. Of course, his linkability and the fact that he is, of course, a perfect link to his brother is what is so appealing about this card. Without further ado though, let's just get into the review. Sven Bender, 6'1", medium high work rates, right footed, turtle moves and 4-star weak foot. So overall guys, not bad in terms of the initial things that you see there on the player. 6'1", good height, medium high work rates, excellent work rates, right footed, 2-star skill moves. For you skillers out there, of course, this is not ideal, but the 4-star weak foot is great, and he is able to do everything that you need him to be able to do with both feet as well. In terms of this chemistry style I played on him, guys, I put the engine on him. His defending and physicality are pretty decent. I did feel like there's an issue there as well, which we will explore. His dribbling needs help from me, guys, as well as his general pace as well. Now, maybe it would have been better boosting either the pace or the dribbling highly and leaving the other one alone, rather than going halfway on both of those, but I felt like this was the best way to go. In terms of key stats, guys, now the first thing we want to look at is the defending stats. In terms of the pros, all of these are fantastic, really great in that department. Great reactions, great composure, great short and long pass as well. Really great in terms of just being a general centre-back as well. All of those stats really good. In terms of the cons, guys, agility and balance, of course, the big one. Ball control and dribbling also very poor on this card. You're not able to move as freely with this card as I would have liked. His acceleration and sprint speed are also quite poor as well. So what that leads to is you get a very clunky moving centre back as well. Not super clunky, he is able to move around, especially with the right chemistry style, I reckon. But either you have to focus on the pace or you have to focus on the dribbling with this card. I don't think you can go halfway between them like I have done with the engine. He needs too much help in either of those categories. If we just get into the player traits, guys, he's got the dives into tackles and the injury prone trait. Injury prone trait, of course, not a great one to have, but overall nothing else to shout home about. And now that we've covered that, we're going to get into what the SBC requirements are for you guys to get your hands on him. So guys, if we just get straight into Sven Bender's SBC requirements, you require 2 squads for this card, guys. 260k on the PlayStation, 262 on the Xbox, and 304 on the PC. So this is not a cheap SBC by any means. 119k on the first squad, which is an 84 rated squad with a Dortmund player in it. The second squad is an 84 rated squad with an informed player and a player from Leverkusen as well. Now guys, like I said before, these aren't cheap squads, and especially with the way fodder is right now, especially with all these packs that are being released with the icon pack, with the 85x5 pack, with the party bag coming out as well, these squads are incredibly highly priced right now. These cards are around for a while, guys, so what I would suggest is maybe wait until these packs start to go away towards the close of the season. You might be looking at that's the best time to go and pick them up, especially before the promos for the new season kick in as well. Overall, guys, I think we'll discuss this more in the summary. Without further ado though, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Sven Bender's clips, and what you guys are going to see is his general ability to play that centre-back position, the distribution from that centre-back slot, as well as the ability just to keep things nice and tidy at the back for me. Now the first thing I'm going to get into, guys, and it's going to be a con of this card, is the pace. The pace is such a big factor on this card, and it's because the acceleration is very low. Now guys, I'm not saying it's always a problem if you've got a low acceleration centre-back. You know, I love Carlos Puyol, I think he's a very good centre-back, but it's a similar problem with this Sven Bender in that if you've got fast players running at him and he doesn't have a lot of protection, he will struggle a little more than his brother did. His brother was a lot quicker, and this card you have to be a little more cautious and considered with in terms of running back and chasing players down or committing to a certain run. In terms of his defending, guys, which is the biggest pro of this card, you guys will have seen already the number of clean tackles, and this is on a yellow card that I'm making some of these tackles. Absolutely phenomenal in terms of cleanliness of tackle, ability to stop the ball there. How's that? His length as well is phenomenal for a defender, allows him to intercept the passes really easily, or like you saw before, block while on the ground. Overall, I think his defending was phenomenal, guys, and it was really nice to have that. I think this card may actually be more adept at defensive midfielder than he is in that centre-back slot, because if he gets outpaced in the centre-back slot, often feel like you're not recovering from that. Whereas if you put him in midfield and you allow him to go and press the ball and be aggressive, I think that could really be a fun card to use in midfield. The next thing I want to get into, guys, is that distribution, and his passing is really good, guys. Although in these clips I'm keeping it relatively simple, you guys can see there a lovely dinked ball into Sane there out on the right, and overall I think this guy's passing was really good. His ability to just distribute the ball simply, keep things flowing for me in my defense, and get the ball moving around my defense as well after winning the ball back was a key part of my defending in this game, actually, because half of it was winning the ball back, half of the battle is actually managing to keep the ball then after you've won it back. So this card did really well in that regard too. In these final few clips, guys, you're just going to see more of the same. Great defending, great recoveries. This one here, aggression, pressing into midfield there. A lovely tackle, winning the ball back. That's in defensive midfield. He's won that ball there. These last couple of clips, again, more of the same. More aggression, more great tackling. This recovery here, I didn't actually even control him for that. Great positioning on that. And in this final clip, you guys are going to see a lovely tackle again. Great recovery here. So guys, getting into this final Sven Bender summary, 260 on the PlayStation, 261 on the Xbox, and 303 on the PC. Now getting into the key stats straight away, guys. The defending all fantastic, the physicality pretty good on this card, the reactions, the composure good, the short and long passing good as well. In terms of cons, guys, ball control and dribbling are poor on this card, so are agility and balance. His acceleration is really bad as well, so he does need a helping hand in terms of that. If I was to suggest how you're going to use this card, guys, I would suggest either you focus on boosting the dribbling, or you focus on boosting the pace. You cannot do both as a halfway house. So I originally tried the engine on him. It doesn't do enough for him, guys, in terms of what he's able to do then on the ball. I think you need to focus more on that side, one or the other, to enable yourself to be able to get the best out of this card. Now, what chemistry style that comes in the form of, I'm not entirely sure. Is it the Guardian? I actually think the best one for him may well just be the Shadow. Just give him the pace he requires, boost that defending to a super elite level so he's at least able to compete in that centre-back slot or defensive midfield spot or wherever you choose to play this card. If we get into the similar sorts of players, guys, there are some similarities to this. Boateng, I think Boateng is a physical monster, so I think that in terms of the physicality, that card doesn't quite have it. Pepe is not a bad shout in terms of a comparison, or even Marquinhos. I think he's got that lean, slight build that is quite similar to those guys. The other cards here are not very similar in terms of playstyle at all. In terms of linkability, guys, of course, got that perfect link to Lars Bender, his brother, Karim Bellarabi, and Jonathan Tah. Strong links, of course, to German players across the Bundesliga, German icons, as well as other Bayer Leverkusen players, in particular Wendell and Tapsoba, who is the big one that you guys are able to link into your squads now without using Hardeki. Which brings me into the price review, guys. Now, for me, guys, 260k, 10k more expensive than his brother as well. For me, it's very high in terms of the value of this card. When I compare him directly to Jerome Boateng, who is a direct comparison, other than, of course, the linkability to Tapsoba, I think this Jerome Boateng is a better card all around than this Sven Bender card. However, I don't really rate this Diogo Upamecano. I do think both of those are better than that card. However, if I was to state whether he's better than this Jean-Claude Todibo, I don't think he's better than Todibo either. So I do think, guys, that in terms of the pricing of this SBC, this one compared to his brother is slightly overpriced. I think his brother is fairly priced. I think this one is overpriced for what you're getting. If the pace was slightly higher, then this card would maybe be worth it in terms of that sort of price level. Which brings me into my final recommendation about Sven Bender. If I was you guys, I would, if you're going to pick between which one you want to do, I would recommend Lars Bender. I would not recommend doing this card unless you're going to use that perfect link between him and his brother. I actually also do think, guys, that centre-back is not his best position. I think defensive midfield may be a better position for him, and then focus on boosting that dribbling to get him to a level where he's technically proficient to be able to play in that midfield. It may not be possible considering how poor some of those dribbling stats are. But if you are going to play this card as centre-back, just beware of that pace, guys, because it is very difficult sometimes to defend with this card. That pace really does hold him back, and it's not a good enough level at this stage in FIFA to be able to competently compete with this card and link him into Tapsoba that way. I think you're better off going for Lars Bender if you're going to pick between the two. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button, and until next time, I will see you all in a bit.